Hello and welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Flying Bison podcast. I am, as always, Justin, your GM and storyteller. I am surrounded by my good friends and family. I will have them introduce themselves, and we'll get talking about something. I got something lined up that I think is very important to talk about. But first, who's playing with me today?
I'm Monroe and I play Liko.
I'm Steve and I play Ren Song.
I'm Johnny and I play Osa.
I'm Danny and I play Rozak.
I'm Nick and I play Chena.
You know, I think next week we'll have
roll
create like a roll call. We'll have a set order and we'll just do that every week.
Otherwise you're depending on like some psychic intuition. Watching each other's nonverbals like, I'm gonna go.
There's something, you know, we were talking about horror movies before we started recording, and there's something almost torturous to just like drop that and just watch you guys like, oh, who's gonna say
You just want to see the world burn, don't you, Dustin?
I do. I really do. I want to just see the world burn.
Yeah, you set a volcano off.
I did. Speaking of the Joker and superheroes, I think we have to talk about something incredibly important, and it's like adjacent to Avatar. Have you guys watched the hit movie of the summer yet? Shang-Chi?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
The Legend of the
That's
Ten
good.
Rings.
The Legend of the actual 10 rings this time.
Absolutely,
All 10 of them.
I have.
All 10 of them.
All 10.
Doesn't it still
no spoilers.
cost extra money right now?
Wait,
Doesn't
what?
it cost extra money to watch right now?
If
Does
you
it
don't
really?
have a mask to go to the theater with, then
Yeah. That's what makes it
I
difficult
thought
for me.
like it was going to be
Is the
released on streaming,
cost
but
just
like
catching
with
COVID?
additional cash or something.
No, it's not available on Disney Plus, I don't
Yeah.
think.
That's what makes it
Okay.
difficult for me
it's
because
not. So that
it's
was-
only in theaters right now.
Same here.
So I mean, they made that was a choice. That was an interesting choice, and I want this movie to succeed because as an Asian American, I'm like, heck yeah, let's support the first Asian-led Marvel movie. And I was like, we have to go see it in theaters to support it. So Abby and I finally.
And
finally
what better
saw it on
way to
Saturday.
succeed than to force people to go and pay money for it?
It's true.
During the pandemic.
I'm not salty at all.
success in Hollywood is measured by monetary gain, and they don't make as much money off of your $30 for Disney Plus as they do off of $20 a pop for a theater ticket.
But I was worried that people wouldn't see it then, right? And it would become a big flop.
A lot of people
So
are
I was
still
like,
watching
We
it.
have to go see it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, Abby and I are vaccinated, so it's like the risk is a little bit minimal. So it was like, let's take it. We'll mask up and go watch a movie. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I cried many times, and Abby and I were talking about it afterward, and I was tearing up. And I don't know if it was like just the Asian American thing, or but there's just something about the story that felt relevant. To the family that I grew up in.
Oh, I had a really similar experience when Black Panther came out, where I think it's this thing of you see yourself represented on the screen, and you're not just the witty sidekick or the side character who's just there to help the white savior. Like that's how I felt watching Black Panther. Is like, oh, like someone who looks like me is the hero. Is doing the stuff. They're not the sidekick. They're not like any like for once in my life, the white people are the side characters who are a little bit out of place in this movie. And it's like, you know, it that felt good to like have that experience of people who looked like me being the ones doing the stuff.
Yeah, the feeling Justin had and that I had too, and also made me cry, was that we were being catered to for the first time. And it was just, there was some really powerful, because I'm Chinese American, and specifically like some of the traditions that are shown and, you know, some of the names that are used are just like things that I used as a kid and have seen. And so yeah, that definitely hit me as well.
I don't know about you, Nick, but like I grew up watching like wuxia martial arts movies.
Oh yeah.
And so like there was like this like nostalgia like watching it. I'm like, these are like the movies I grew up watching with my dad. You know, we would watch like wuxia and we would watch like old samurai black and white movies. And yeah, it was really cool. I was trying to describe it to a friend afterwards, and I was like, the ethnicity of the characters adds something to the movie. Like it's important in that story, but if you took that away, it still stands on its own as a good movie. And I think the same with Black Panther too, right? Like it's a good movie and they're black, right? Like Shang-Chi is like, it's a good movie and everyone's Asian. Yeah. So it was really, I loved it. If you haven't seen it and you feel comfortable doing it, I'm not gonna tell you to go do it because people have their own comfort levels. But if you have the ability to see it and you want to support everyone in the cast that put in a lot of work into making that movie, it's great. And there's a lot of themes that are really relevant and close to what we're doing in Avatar too, right? Like there's a lot of that same narrative and story.
If you all go watch it, we'll release a bonus episode where we'll all sit through and watch the entirety of M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, don't
I will not be participating.
Oh, that's just Danny. That's not the rest of us.
Heavily intoxicated for that. Yeah,
that maybe
I just want to see the world burn.
We should just post a stream of Danny suffering through that movie, just live reactions.
We should start doing stuff on Twitch, and we'll just
maybe that's one thing that Shang-Chi and Avatar have in common. The movie Avatar, they both make you cry.
For very different reasons.
Yeah.
Very different reasons.
I can picture the channel now. Danny watches trash. I think that would just be.
There were these guys who made a podcast where they just every day for a year watched Grown Ups 2.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It does something to a person.
It really does.
You can't do that.
You do not come out of that experience the same way you were before you watched that movie.
365 times? Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I will never torture any of your characters like that. That's just cruel and unusual punishment. But it's self-inflicted, man. Well, enough. We've talked about something that you should go watch if you feel comfortable going to the theaters. Many people do not, and that is okay. And we've also talked about movies you should definitely not watch, especially 365 times within the span of a year. Well, I want to do a little recap, but last time you were able to escape the active volcano. You got into a fight with Rozak's old rival Dosa, who had a contingency of firebenders with him as well too, and you fought your way out of the volcano and escaped. And you're not quite sure what happened to Dosa, although us as the audience know with that little end scene what happened to Dosa. Who knows when he'll show up again? Got some good plans for Dosa. But we're actually going to start a little different tonight because you've all just scrambled onto Ru's back and read the letter to Dosa that the mayor of Soboha wrote. And while Liko drives Ru, the rest of you have a chance to catch your breath. Rozak, though, is sitting on the back of Ru, just staring at the mountain that just buried his best friend. And as the mountain gets smaller and smaller and smaller, the scene shifts to another mountain that's far away in the distance, and what appears to be a courtyard blurred in the foreground, before the mountain becomes blurred and the square comes into focus as a flaming backwards bicycle kick just rockets into the scene. Two crossed hands block the strike before pushing the kick away. The camera pans out, and we see a young Dosa and Rozak training in the courtyard. "Come on, Ro, hit me! Hit me with a counterattack!" And as the two spar in the courtyard of his childhood home in Ba Sing Se, Dosa and Rozak come at each other. Dosa throws jabs and leaping kicks of fireballs and flame whips as Rozak continually blocks them or interrupts them in the air with the flames of his own, never taking advantage, always waiting patiently
Maybe if you didn't fight like a baby fire ferret, I wouldn't be able to block your attacks so easily, Dosa.
Rozak replies, and as the good-natured sparring continues, a frustrated Dosa stops attacking. Rozak, come on, this is serious. How do you expect to protect yourself or your mom if you're being such a scared little Fire Nation wannabe? And his anger erupting out of him, Rozak shouts.
Shut up, Dosa. I'm a part of the Earth Kingdom, and I'm proud of it. You should hear the stories my mom has to say about my father. The Fire Nation just a bunch of power-hungry thugs. I'm glad I'm not Fire Nation, and I don't care what you think.
There's a moment of tension in the air as wordlessly, they each fall back into their stances. Sparring begins again, but the spark in the air has changed. All of the playfulness is replaced by a firing rage deep within the two young firebenders. Fine, I'll show you how a real Fire Nation soldier bends. Dosa's frustration turns to anger as he winds up and lets out a powerful spinning horse kick that shoots out large waves of fire.
Dosa, stop!
Rozak yells as he redirects the flame with a quick roundhouse, but he notices his mother, Sanfen, coming to bring them a cup of jasmine tea.
No!
Rozak cries out, but it's too late as the wave of flame redirected by Rozak plunges toward his Earth Kingdom mother. Within seconds, Sanfen Launcher is on the ground holding her face to her hands, the telltale burn marks of a firebender adorning her visage. And as the scene begins to fade away, we're simply left with a quiet weeping as Rozak takes in what he just did. And it pulls back to the scene of U5 escaping Mount Hakora. Rozak, what makes you think of this memory in this moment? What is he feeling right now?
Obviously what probably triggered the memory was seeing Dosa, first of all. And he's having very conflicted feelings too, because like he doesn't, I wouldn't say he hates Dosa because they were friends for so long. Now like he technically is an enemy. And so that he has very conflicted feelings about, the whole being crushed by a volcano thing.
It's pretty intense, huh? Being crushed by a volcano. Well, you all have a moment to catch your breath. You all see Rozak sitting, sort of staring at the mountain behind him. You have a moment to decide and figure out what is your next move.
Ren very quickly moves to try to comfort Rozak. I don't think Ren would feel confident enough to just go for the old arm around his shoulder or anything like that. It's a little early in the game, so I think just sitting close by and just kind of giving a nod.
Rozak doesn't even acknowledge him. He's still just sitting and staring
for sure
back at the mountain.
Ren's like, yeah, this is going great. I'm doing great.
Social interaction.
Yeah. I should be a therapist.
So Rensong doesn't say anything?
No. Can't think of any.
That's rough,
can't
buddy.
Think of any words yet. Just trying to be there.
Well, let me ask Rozak this then. Does that comfort Rozak at all?
He appreciates that someone's making it apparent that they notice that he's acting different. He is affected by that, but he doesn't want to show any appreciation or any signs of weakness. You guys aren't the Guardian. He is. That's kind of his mentality, and he'll. So
well, Jay's gonna notice this and be like, Rozak, you okay?
He goes, oh, well, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just thinking about how I could have thrown up a taller firewall in that last battle.
That's right. You probably could have. That probably would help.
Yeah.
That's good. You should always, go over combat afterwards.
Do you want some cabbage?
Try to improve.
Don't take it. It's not good.
Yeah.
Is there coal?
Yeah, we'll just stop at the next village. And buy some food.
Maybe you should just throw that out.
Don't eat that. You don't know what kind of booty demon's going to come out of you.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I don't. We should honestly just throw it out.
Okay.
You bought that?
They might have parasites.
Liko, do you think Rue would eat this cabbage?
Don't feed it to Rue.
She just want to poison her.
Yeah, we need her, and please don't do that.
It's not like
filling. That's like filling a car's fuel tank with water.
Cabbage would be fine, but cabbage with charcoal on top of it? That sounds like Like cancer or something.
Ren just hangs his head and sighs and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then just throws the cabbages overboard down upon some unsuspecting people.
Yeah, cut to some like merchant cart that's just walking and then
I mean, their entire head's a cabbage just falling from who knows how high in the sky.
That is terrifying.
yeah, I like that. It's like two fall and then the one looks up and it like hits him square in the face and it's like he's got a cabbage head.
It's messed up.
I remember those being described as slimy as well. So
It's
Why
gross.
were they slimy? Were they just?
I hope it
verging on
wasn't
rot?
saliva from his hand.
Oh my
That means
god!
it's wet, which
Dude.
I'll never
is probably
tell.
heavier when it. Right, it's pretty dense.
yeah, it's just like a solid weight.
More buoyancy.
Who was back in episode 1? Who was the most knowledgeable about how to get? Was it Osa? Who?
It was Che.
All right, Rose's gonna.
Oh no, Che
Che?
was the one who knew more about the village, right? And
Yeah,
Osa
Che
knew
told,
more about where
yeah.
we're at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shay told Rue.
Yeah, I have no idea where we are.
Yeah. No, I did.
Oh,
Rozak
okay.
did.
Rosic.
Well, yeah, Rozak did. I didn't. Danny Wickman doesn't exist in the Avatar verse.
Yeah, we don't talk about Danny.
unfortunately. But Rozak's going to stand up and turn to Osa and say, "Do you have any idea how far we are?"
No.
Good chat. Glad we solved that.
He's gonna sit back down and just
Well,
stare at where the cabbages were
Did you
thrown.
have to stand up to do
and
that?
we picked up money, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so
So
we're
we
going to
need
the
to
next
just
village.
whatever we spot, if it looks like it's not on fire, we got to go down and get some food.
And go
'Cause
shopping.
We're all hungry and I'm exhausted.
Yes.
Wait, there was
Osa
no one
is
got
basically
food?
like sleeping in his seat.
I thought Che got
Yeah.
we were able to get some food.
No, we just got money.
We had
Oh
a
yeah, that's
choice
right. So
to
that we
make.
can buy
Ren
food.
got those
Got it.
cabbages.
We were like, do we get the perishables or do we just get the cash?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can buy perishables with cash.
There were Visa cards.
If we
It
can
was
find a
great.
place to buy them.
I didn't know they had those here.
Yeah, prepaid. It was
Prepaid
perfect.
cards.
Just a box full of prepaid cards.
Acceptable
Fire
at any
Nation.
village larger than Saboha.
Fire Nation Credit Union.
I would imagine genocidal conquest and imperialism kind of tanks the shared world banking system.
Oh no. You just imposed the banking
In
system.
some ways, that's how you make a structured world banking system. But
Good point. You're right. You're gonna accept this card whether you like it or not.
All right. Okay. Jeez.
All right. Enough of that.
if you think about it too hard, you'll realize why American currency is good so many other countries, right?
Yep. Don't think
You
too
know,
hard.
it was so funny.
Hey, you can't talk about the colonization, man.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Fire Nation like that.
My wife gets most of her information from TikTok now.
Oh no!
And she told me the other day she was watching this video of this guy who was like, well, you can't just print money. And his response was like, that's 100% what we do. Like when we need money, we just print more money.
Also, you just have to keep printing it because it's made out of paper.
Exactly. Like of course we print more money. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes, money means nothing. Go back to just bartering with clams and
Go back to
shells.
clam.
There is only Avatar.
There is only Avatar. There's only Fire Nation Credit Union.
How much cash did we grab, Jay?
This entire box of jade coins, and he holds it up and opens it.
Sweet.
It's a lot of dumplings.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been more, but I only had time for the one box, so.
So it couldn't have been.
Quiet, Osa. It's getting all philosophical airbender over there.
Here, does anyone know where we are?
North of Saboho.
Saboha.
Saboha? I don't know. These Earth's Kingdom villages, they all sound the same.
I think if my memory serves, we're probably 2 or 3 days from the Fire Nation, including stops and stuff. or Ba Sing Se, not the Fire Nation.
I was gonna say, like, we're going to the Fire
Yeah,
Nation now?
I thought we were going to the Philippines.
I feel like our priorities switched.
I was like, dear. Just face them head on.
Justin, can I
that's
roll to see if I can sort out where we are based on my memory of where Kyoshi is and other landmarks?
You know, I don't feel like that's necessary.
Okay.
I actually did some math, and I am assuming that Rue can travel about the same distance and as Appa. That's an assumption.
Flying bison speed.
But if that's true, then probably closer to about 20 days,
Solid.
I think. Yep.
And that's nonstop.
And that would be nonstop, exactly.
Yeah, Rue needs some
Yep.
breaks.
Which makes sense, right? Like, it's the whole world. You're basically going from almost the southern tip to almost the northern tip. So
Of the continent.
of the whole continent. So
Let's do it.
Does anyone have any injuries?
I think everyone's
I feel
just
like
pretty,
we were
pretty tired.
unscathed but tired. Am I right?
Okay.
Yeah, I totally exhausted myself.
I mean, like, Rosa got knocked over on his butt, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I feel like everyone's fine, but just
well, if you can find a place to rest, you can get rid of some of your fatigue.
Well, Osa's been resting on Rue.
You can also, this is important to know, you can also help each other get rid of fatigue by comforting or supporting each other. That was one of the reasons why I asked about Ren and Rozek's interaction.
I got rid of my one fatigue using a move, or a technique rather.
Evade and observe, yes. But the rest of you either need to find a place to rest, or you can try and comfort or support each other.
I vote to find some place to rest.
Yeah, Ren is hangry.
we should find some place to go. Spend some of this cash.
I agree.
Jay'll like grab like an arbitrary handful and like hand one to each person, but he'll keep the box.
Should we do this when we're on the ground so nothing drops?
No, these coins are just
They
flying.
slip out of your fingers and then it's just everywhere.
This is a good
I
roll.
love
It's that same merchant caravan that had walked a little bit further now. And
At least it's money this time.
Just a little bit more dangerous, though.
Justin, can you tell us like what our areas kind of look like underneath us? Like, is it just forest, or is there a village or a river or something?
yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question that Liko is asking too, because as she's looking down, she knows what you guys are starting to fly over. You're beginning to enter into the foggy swamp territory, and not the like thick part that's full of like the banyan trees and the swamp area, but it's starting to get pretty foresty. And as you're flying, you see almost like right before it becomes swampy, you see a decent sized village that is next to a big river that leads further into the foggy swamp.
Liko, is this promising?
Yeah, we should stop here.
Good news, Rue.
So Ligo tells Rue to find a safe place to land.
And Rue coils down and lands not too far out of the village. You know, you're pretty close to it. You can probably walk to it, and I mean, unless you guys want to keep Rue hidden.
That might be a good idea.
Probably.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
So Rue lands a little bit further away, and you guys are just within a short walking distance. So you were able to walk to the village now. You begin walking, and as you get closer, you can now see it. It's a pretty decent sized. It's much bigger than Soboha. It's not as big as, you know, say Ba Sing Se or Amashu or even probably Chin Village. But it's big enough that they've got a sort of self-sustaining economy based around fishing. You see a couple fishermen fishing on this giant river, and you see that it's literally right on the edge of where the foggy swamp starts to get really thick. And there's this giant red torii gate that stands between the exit of the village into the foggy swamp. But as you begin walking in, the entire town, besides like those couple of fishermen, is completely empty.
Well, this is unsettling.
Man, I just want to spend my money.
I'm guessing it's like broad daylight.
It's broad daylight, and you guys continue walking, and the fishermen look at you, quickly pack up their stuff and run away, and you see a number of doors that open, and like a family will like look out at you and then shut the door immediately.
I lean in and I'm like, do you think Fire Nation outfits could be an issue?
Are we still wearing them? I feel like we would have changed.
I don't know. You're wearing whatever you're wearing.
I'm wearing like my
So
normal
am I.
clothes, which are still somewhat Fire Nation, but also
Got that fire flow, that feel.
Yeah, so am I. You guys, I think you guys should don't make any sudden movements, and whatever you do, do not like destroy anything here. No nature, no anything.
You turn,
Rozek, try not to walk
and
away.
as you're saying that, Rozek is changing.
Oh,
As he's pulling down his shirt.
That's fine.
what are you doing?
He's changing back into his
Ren
Earth Kingdom
smacks his
attire.
own forehead and tries to make an impromptu block to give you privacy.
No, he was wearing biker shorts and a beater underneath his Fire Nation uniform,
Yeah.
so it's
all
fine.
the trees available, and you just decide to not.
Thank the
That's
spirits.
fine. That's probably why they ran away.
Maybe
I'm just
they
gonna
were-
pick a house and then knock on the door.
Nice, Jay.
Wait, why don't we talk about what we're gonna do here first before Jay goes knocking on doors?
All right, he stops in the middle of what he was like in the middle of walking. on the side.
Before you go, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. I'm not gonna stop you, but
Okay. All right. Well, I just mean like, it feels like they're very nervous about us. We can just ask what's going on. Just say like, hey, we don't mean any harm. We're just travelers looking for
Meat
some,
and a place to sleep.
supplies and a place to rest.
We can say that our fellow airbender friend is craving some meat.
Maybe let's
Can we
not
tell people I'm an
advertise
airbender?
the airbender. Yeah, we should avoid that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
We need camouflage.
so very,
No,
I'm very neat
you're
to
doing
this.
your best, buddy. Don't worry. about it.
Osa is like a
get different
huge
clothes,
orange person
actually.
right now.
A huge orange person.
Those robes stick out anywhere but the air dimples. So
I like to imagine Osa's robes are like 3 like normal sized air nomad robes, like stitched together.
That's exactly what they are.
Yes.
so
you were saying, Liko?
out of character, Nick. I think a lot of the Foggy Swamp people aren't really open to new people, right? Like if they to outlanders, I guess you can call them, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, for sure. No, you're
Okay, I
correct.
just want to make sure that I did some research, but I'm just not sure if I'm completely on the right page.
And this is still far enough away from sort of the center part of the foggy swamp that this is probably like the last Earth Kingdom village before you have to traverse through the foggy swamp, like the heart of it. So when you look around and people are popping out, they're wearing Earth Nation clothes or Earth Kingdom clothes.
So I'm gonna go knock. Just gonna say hello. See what
Okay.
happens.
Someone should go get some food. Osa, there's no meat. There's only fish. Are you okay with that?
Fish is great.
Okay.
Fish is
It's close
meat.
enough.
Che, do you?
Where'd those fishermen go? Did they also run
They
away? from
did.
us?
Che, do you think you can give them some money so they can buy some food?
Yeah, did they drop? Okay, I'll grab another
the-
handful for each of them.
Oh, wait, you already gave us money? I thought like we were gonna wait till we landed.
No, it's fair. Some of it probably fell.
Okay. All right then. I need to go get something real quick, so I'm gonna separate from the group, and then we'll meet.
I'm gonna go knock on someone's
All
door.
So Liko leaves.
Jay, you walk up to the door and
Yes.
What do you do?
I just say hello. Hey, we're just travelers. I knock on the door. And, we're just travelers. We're just looking to buy some supplies. Maybe looking for a place to stay for the night. Hello.
Leave us alone. We don't want any trouble.
We're not here for trouble. We just want to buy food. Perhaps some fish, since you are a fisherman's village.
No, we don't have any food for you. Just leave.
What do you mean? What?
We have money.
What do you... You're a fishing village. You have to sell your fish. That is what you do.
No, you're gonna have to get out of here before Rohu comes.
Who's Rahu?
As you're saying this, all of you don't get a long chance to break from each other before you hear sort of like, it sounds like hoof steps coming from outside of the village. And you look, and coming up the main path of this village are they look like, from this distance you're having trouble, but as they get closer you recognize them as 3 ostrich buffaloes, and they're each carrying what look to be someone, and they come into town and they trample around the center square and stop, and all 3 of them get off, and they start shouting. They're like, all right, time to bring the tribute out for Rohu.
Who's Rohu? Like Jane raises a hand.
Rozak's gonna sprint over to Che and put his hand down like,
what? I'm wondering what I'm wondering who Roshu is. Rosu? What's his name?
Those are 3 different names.
Oh, yeah. We got some new people
Who's
in town,
Rohu?
huh?
We are new.
It's Rohu.
Oh, Rosu.
Roshu.
No, my name's Rosa.
No. He said Roju, not Rosu.
Sorry, you're so far away, sir.
Yeah, could you come a little bit closer, actually? This conversation's a little awkward to have at this distance.
All right, okay. Come on,
Yeah,
boys.
you're not supposed to start talking until you're at least 7 paces.
They walk closer to you.
I like to imagine as I walk closer, we get a little startled and we like instinctively back away.
To keep it at like 9 paces.
You said come closer.
Oh no, sorry, that's him. He's just very nervous. We'll come back. We take 2 steps forward.
We can work this out.
All right, so I'll take 2 steps forward and you stay where you're at.
Okay.
And then I'll.
Oh, all right. Then we got to take 2 steps back now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now
Are we
I
at
think we're
7?
good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. So this town is under the protection of Rohu.
What town is this?
Tofu. Yeah.
From what? Protection from what?
Look, you just owe us some fish, all right?
Oh, well, we just
if
got
these
here. We don't
folks
have any
would let
fish,
us
which...
buy the fish, we can happily give you fish.
No, they owe us the fish in order to protect this town.
Oh.
There's water all over the place. Get your own fish, right?
All right, are you going to stand in our way of getting these fish from these people?
Who are you protecting these people from?
And at this point, out of like at the end of the town square, there's like a bigger house, and this man comes running out, and he's mid-50s. He's got this matted gray hair and dull green eyes. He's wearing well-made clothes, and he's got a brooch around the clasp. You can't see what it is right now, but he's wearing a brooch. And Liko, you notice a couple interesting things about him. The first is that he has a burn mark that seems to wrap from around his back and up around his neck. And he also has a similar skin tone to Liko. He's pretty tanned. He's not as pale as some of the other Earth Kingdom citizens. And he stumbles out and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, there seems to have been a misunderstanding. We'll just give you the fish and you can get out of here." No, these people have spoken bad about Tofu. I mean, God,
See,
no,
now he doesn't
his
Messed
name.
him up.
Dude, it's Roju. You just said it.
Rohu.
Oh, Ah, it's totally
Guys, Just be quiet.
What? What, Liko?
She told them to be quiet.
Oh, be quiet?
Be quiet, yes.
Okay,
be
sorry.
quiet.
Okay, sorry, Tofu. She wants us to be quiet.
Wait, your tofu?
Ren gently kicks Rozek's ankle.
No, I'm so sorry. We'll just we'll give you the fish. Casa, bring out the fish. This young woman with like red hair comes out, and she lays the basket of fish down in front, and she looks up at you guys and gives a little wink, and you see her foot kick, and the basket looks like it just flips over and spills. And Rohu, not Rohu, these bandits. Now I'm confused. Dang it, Justin's confused now. Who are we talking about?
We won.
Who's on first, Justin? Who's on first?
Exactly. Who's on second?
Rohu.
Rohu's on first. The basket flips, and these bandits, the one that's been talking, goes, "All right, now you've done it," and he kicks his fist up. "We're gonna have to teach you a lesson about what you owe Rohu." Is do anything?
I want to like just kind of following a cue from that girl, kick and make one of the fish just shoot up into the guy's face.
Good old fish slap.
What did
Good
Liko do?
old fish slap.
Liko,
Yeah, what is Liko doing too?
Jumps in front of the group.
All right, everybody grab a fish.
But
Fish
not what Liko
fight!
said. Liko did not say grab a fish.
That is a waste of food. We will fight without fish and then eat the
don't grab
fish.
All right,
Yeah, stay away from
Osa,
the fish.
what is your... Are you intending to do anything, or is this just sort of a flavor fish slap?
It's a flavor fish slap intended to rile and humiliate the guy.
Okay.
A fish flavored slap, if you will.
A fish flavored slap.
Directly after he gets fish slapped, I think Rozek, I don't know if I'm powerful enough to do this, but Rozek wants to kind of like surround the soldiers and us in like this like ring of flame and say, "I don't think you should be bothering this town of people anymore."
Well, let's do this, because I'm trying to figure out how to make the fish slap work mechanically.
What are the mechanics of a fish?
What are the
The
stats
fish
for a
will
fish?
definitely be fatigued.
The fish is definitely fatigued. The fish has been floundering around for
How many
quite a while
damage
now.
dice do you think a fish deals?
Let's do this.
Do you want to roll like push my luck or something like that?
No, so I was actually thinking trick.
Okay.
I think trick makes sense here. You're not trying to get them to do anything. Osa?
I mean, not necessarily. If anything, to back down, but
Justin, do the rest of them know where I'm from? Where Liko's from?
That would be something that you can probably follow up on after.
Okay, so as
Yeah,
far as
I
I
don't know if you'd
know,
be able to know.
they don't know as of this particular moment. Okay.
Correct. Yep. As far as you know. Yeah. You know what, Osa? Let's do push your luck.
okay. So what do I roll with for that? Passion.
Yes. Roll with passion. When you push your luck in a risky situation, say what you want to do and roll with passion.
Okay. So that is a 8 total.
An 8 total. Okay. So on a hit, you do it, but it costs you to scrape by, and the GM tells you what it costs you. All right. So costs you to scrape by. You're just tossing a fish at someone, man. All right. So you bend the fish up into the bandit's face. And I will say that if you guys want to go into a combat exchange, which you haven't decided yet, he would be impaired for that combat exchange. But what happens to Osa is that the mayor, he runs up to you and he gives you a look of knowing. And you see now the brooch that he's wearing, now that he's standing next to you, and he is wearing a brooch, and it's got a lotus flower on it.
And all of us notice it, right? He looked at all of us.
This is just Osa.
Okay, Osa.
Osa is The mayor has run up and given Osa a look of knowing, and Osa sees this brooch that's got a white lotus flower on it. And he puts his hand on you and says, Don't do it. Just stand down. Let them take the fish. Let them hurt my village. It's fine. We'll recover. Meanwhile, Rozak has tossed up this wall of fire around the 6 of you now, plus the bandits, including the mayor, with Liko in front. What do you do?
I was like, I don't think we were going for like an all-out combat.
Rozak's gonna say, with all due respect to Mr. Mayor, I don't believe that a town of decent people should just have to deal with recovering from exploitation and fish mongering.
Rozak's speeches are great.
Liko looks back at Rozak and just kind of like notices that he's sticking up for her people, even though he doesn't know it yet.
Rozak, we don't know what's going on.
So, oh yeah, Rozak wants to repeat a question that he asked that was interrupted by the rude Mr. Mayor. And I'm kidding. He's not rude.
That's his name. How'd you guess it?
Sorry. He's gonna say, what or who exactly are you protecting? Are you protecting this town from? When he says protecting, he does little quotation fingers.
Let them. You're gonna bring on more harm to these people if you fight them.
Oh no, he was talking to the
bandits.
Ostrich buffalo riding people. He was asking the bandits what they're protecting the town from.
Look, there could be even worse people out here. I've heard that the Fire Nation started coming around these parts. So
he says while a wall of fire is around us.
he gives Rozak a sort of knowing look, like some Fire Nation around these parts. Who's to say that they won't come in here? So sad if this tiny village got taken out by some Fire Nation people because they didn't pay their taxes to Rohu.
Ren turns to Rozak and it's just like, firewall down. Norton, firewall down.
Yeah, the firewall is going to slowly dissipate.
I as Johnny understand what the mayor's pin brooch thing means. Does Osa know what that is?
I mean, you can talk to me about it. I can't think of really any person here who would have any idea what that would mean.
Yeah, suddenly Uncle
maybe
Iroh
if you think
I can't think of a reason Osa should know what that brooch means. But
yeah, like narratively, what are you guys doing?
We're gonna tone it down. We're gonna step back. All right. I feel like there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. I think we were all just a little tired, some tempers flared. We're just trying to get some food and some rest and then be on our way. There's no need for this. There's no need for action.
Rozak's just gonna say, just take your fish and leave, and he's gonna kick a piece of fish at the Fire Nation people, and he's going to moonwalk away.
I was not ready for that.
Wait, are these people Fire Nation? I don't think they're Fire Nation,
no,
right?
they're just
so the only Fire Nation person is
even
Che
seen them
now.
bend.
So he just takes the
They're just locals beating up on locals.
Che, why don't you plead? Actually, that's probably more intimidate because they do not care what you think.
Okay. It's fair.
I mean, you had to just say it so bluntly.
A quick side question. How old is Che? Because in this picture, he looks like a toddler.
Oh, yeah, that is not accurate. That was
baby Che.
Danny thought it was
How
funny.
old is he?
Che, he's 3.
He's actually...
Okay.
He's up to Liko's knees.
He's up to Liko's
Waddling around.
I was like wondering who's... like, we've been...
Throwing his flaming boulders.
Okay.
Just an actual toddler. Anyways.
Because if it was a toddler, that'd be even more dire to protect, you know?
Yeah, but that's how
Rozek sees him?
Rozek sees him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, they need something more. Evidence that this is the right course. Sorry, you're tricking. Or intimidating
I'm tricking?
them. I'm sorry. I was reading plead. You're intimidating them. On a hit, they choose 1. They pick up the single fish that Rozek kicked towards them. And they say, well, this just isn't going to do. Guess we'll have to go get Rohu. And they jump on their ostrich buffaloes and they begin riding around the town square again, around the 5 of you and the mayor. And they say, we're coming back in 2 days' time. You better have our fish ready by then.
Don't you mean Rozu?
It's Rohu!
I thought it was tofu.
No,
think it
that's
is
what I
I don't know.
said.
I'm going back and forth, honestly.
Starting to really like you guys.
Man, I'd hope so.
Now I'm starting to like you guys. None of
Well, I just don't want you to not like me because I've seen what you've done to people.
Yeah, those ice knuckles.
I'm gonna look at the mayor, and first I'm gonna like bow to him and just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, grandfather. I think we've made things worse."
Yeah, sorry, Uncle.
What?
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, relative.
What can we do to help?
He is listening to you, but he's also, his eyes haven't left Liko the entire time. And he shakes out of it and looks at you and says, no, it was bound to happen at some point. We couldn't just keep giving them our fish forever, but I don't know what we're gonna do in 2 days. Rohu's gonna come with the rest of his gang, and they will. We don't have any fighters here. There's nothing we can do.
Where's their gang hideout?
They're about a day's ride from here.
How many of them are there?
We've never seen all of them before, but in the years that we've been giving them fish, I've seen upwards of 30, 40 people.
Uncle, did you say years? You said years.
As long as I've been mayor, so...
Uncle, I don't know if you're the best mayor out there.
Well, what would you have me do?
guys.
Pretty much anything.
There's nothing we can do.
Are there no benders here?
No, there's nobody.
We're a small fishing village.
Well, there's
All right, well.
4 benders and 5 fighters here now.
So you're telling me that these guys have probably a bunch of fish, probably some supplies, and they're just hanging out in some hideout somewhere where they're totally expecting not to be attacked?
If you want to take on 40 earthbenders at once.
They can't all be earthbenders.
Most of them are, and look, at this point, you've kind of gotten us into this mess, so I think you need to do something.
I definitely agree, and I'm sorry for being so
You do? Okay.
fiery spirited
Oh my goodness.
in that last conversation.
Rozek's no longer a part of our group, but the rest of us can definitely help.
Rozek's banned
Everyone
forever.
else everyone else sidesteps away from him. Like,
There are now 2 parties.
Rozek's by himself, and everyone else is in the different party.
Ren just looks super sad and then looks at the village elder, I'll call him, and just says, I don't like bullies. I'll do whatever you think is best.
Well, if you're going to stay in town, perhaps we should get to know each other a little bit. My name is Iron. I'm the mayor of this town, and have been for some time. And when he says that, he sort of side eyes Liko.
I wouldn't do that.
do you
Uncle.
do you know her? Do you,
You keep
what's-
giving her all these weird looks.
Have you never
Immediate
seen,
big brother energy for the oldest member of the group.
I love it.
I thought I was the oldest
It's a
member.
really bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He says, "No, I'm sorry, young lady. You remind me of someone. Two people that I used to know.
Oh, I thought you were hoping she'd become mayor.
I mean, do you want the job?
Wait, how old does this guy look?
He's mid-50s.
No, I don't want the
He's not
job.
gonna die soon.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants that job.
Well, I suppose I'll just keep being the mayor then, I
He's
guess.
just gonna give it away.
Yeah. Several years.
Guy was ready
Have
to leave the
elections,
post.
the mayor just decides who's the next mayor. Is that how it works?
he chooses an heir.
Welcome to
It's not
the
really a
foggy
mayor in
swamp.
the conventional sense.
Mayor is the nice word for autocrat.
Rozek is going to put his hand on Osa's back and say to the mayor, maybe we should talk more over some hot tea and a meal.
Well, thanks to you, we've got a bit more fish than we would normally have when these guys come around. So I suppose we could eat some fish.
And we
All right,
might have some slimy cabbage left.
I know we
No,
don't.
we dropped that.
You dropped it all out? Okay,
Yeah, don't worry about what he says.
It's better safe than
I
sorry.
don't think we would eat that.
Yeah,
anyway.
Rosa, just
no,
put that fire to good use and cook up the fish for us.
No, don't tell
Everyone,
me that.
it's safe. You can come out now. These people are here to help us, and the doors start opening, and it's a bigger sized village than Sobaha. It's probably like 120-ish people, and they're sort of timidly coming out and looking at you. And Iron goes, Toko, these people are in need of a meal. Should they retire to the blind Unagi? Toko goes, yeah, we'll have them. Bring them this way.
Nice. Cool. Should I grab the fish or...
I'll get someone to get the fish.
Okay. All right. This guy's kind of intimidating.
You start following Toko, and you notice as you're following Toko that he's older, even older than Iron. He's got like a bald head, and he's got like a cane. And as you're watching him, he's actually using the cane to feel the ground in front of him as he's leading you towards his place.
So when Che thinks that, they're kind of away from like the crowd of people, and just to check, he's going to like kind of walk up to Toko and just kind of wave a hand in front of his face. Just like, is he doing
Ultimate rude teenager test.
Just checking. I'm just...
You're walking in front of him backwards, waving your hand in front of him, and he's like still going like that. And he goes, "He may not be able to see, but please stop walking in front of me."
Well, yeah, sorry. That's a good point. You're leading. So how are you leading?
Son, I've lived here in Wanya village for most of my life. I could follow its trails, streams of its river, wherever I want to go. Right now we're going to the blind Unagi.
And you never wanted to leave.
Never needed to. I'm happy right here.
I love how Che never shuts up.
It's just
Old
Interesting.
he was literally about to go into something.
Interesting.
So the blind Unagi, is that intentional, or did it happen afterwards that you were blind and you owned the blind Unagi?
I'll leave that up to you to decide. But when you get there, you're gonna have to try the blind Unagi drink. It's a Wanya specialty.
Will it make me blind?
That's the rumor anyway.
Ren asks
Yeah, I gotta try this.
Toko, how do you feel about these bullies? Don't tell me you're happy living here with them around.
Are we gonna have a talking like this contest?
Ren clearly looks nervous and shifty. You clearly win.
Just call him out like that.
You trying to play the man?
Ren gets super nervous and just starts anxiously rubbing the white ribbon tied around his left hand.
Just answer the
Just
question.
stops talking and keeps walking.
Not everyone's like chain at home. Just
Swear to me. Why are you being so aggressive?
His name,
Tofu of Wonton Village.
his name is Toko, not Tofu.
Where is she?
You're thinking of Rohu, aka Soju.
We
I
forgot.
forgot Soju. That was low hanging fruit.
It was.
That's the name of this episode. Soju and Tofu walk into Wonton Village.
I'm sorry. It was just a little jest at your behest.
So
No,
defensive.
never needed to leave. It's not perfect, but the people of Wanya are resilient, and yes, we have to put up with Rohu and his roving band of raiders, but I'm a fisherman at heart. We're all fishermen. Fisherwomen at heart. Fisherwomen, is that the inclusive? Fish people.
That's fine.
Fish. I think you missed the Michael.
Dang it.
Crab people.
said that.
Just
Anglers. You
people.
could just say anglers.
Anglers. Crustaceans.
Turns out we're actually just an
Impersonation is
intimate.
taking over faster.
not
We
like
traveled into a Lovecraftian book.
In real life and in game.
real life is great, but in the game, Liko said that.
Are we close to food?
Honest question.
Yeah,
You just been walking in circles around.
Literally 8 seconds.
I thought you just wanted to ask me questions this entire time.
It's right here. It's it's really the blind.
Ren
leading the
clearly
blind.
just like spots the sign for the blind Unagi and just starts walking towards it.
Do you remember where your bar is?
No, we're real close. It's Justin here, and he leads you into the Blind Unagi, and it's a decent sized tea shop. That's also got a place that he can cook at, and he sort of walks behind the bar, little bar area, and starts grilling some fish. And it's pretty quickly, also you start smelling this fragrant aroma of fish. And he puts out a plate for each of you. And at this point, the mayor walks in as well. And there's a plate for him. But before the mayor says anything, Toko says, "All right, anyone want to try it? The blind Unogi?"
Monche.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
try it.
I'll take 2.
And it's surprising because he turns around the entire time too. He's been cooking. It's almost like he is not blind. He's just moving around so deftly at his own establishment that he knows exactly where everything is and exactly where it needs to be. And he, with this blinding speed, you see him get 2 glasses, and he then reaches under the bar and pulls out a sack and a vial of some sort of liquid. And he says, "All right, what I've got here, Unogi scales, Unogi venom. I'll crush up the scales. Add a little bit of sake. You can drink, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Little sake, little crushed Unogi scale, and some Unogi venom. You down it. 1 sip.
Yeah, I could totally do that.
What's
Let's start with 1 though. I said
what's-
2 before I knew what it was. I'm going to say
what's
1.
the
now.
drinking age?
Right,
in-
1.
in-
It doesn't matter whether you drink 1 or 2. The rumor is that you drink 1, within a couple days you'll be blind.
Cool.
No one in town's ever drinking it, and any of the visitors that pass through have never returned. So, as far as I know, 100% accurate.
So why the heck do you?
Che,
Nah, you gotta do the whole thing. Also, why
take
would you
half
sell
of one,
this
Che.
if no one in town tried it?
Think of it as
Are
Little
you just doing it
taste.
yourself? You know,
a little taste of what it is to be me. You see,
If we all had like a Che walking around with us, I think we'd all be better off because she can ask all these questions. They're really,
You just ask whatever is on his
but they're
mind.
very good questions.
Minimal filter.
I like it too because it's
Literally.
very Fire Nation, right? Like you're not like waiting, you're not holding back. You're just like literally whatever thought pops into your head. You're like, let me ask, aggressive, boom, 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 boom. I like that. It makes sense.
Just in case, Rozak wants to roll his suspicious mind
About
as
the
we're in
shot
the
of alcohol.
Yeah, on who?
Toko. Toko.
Toko.
On
Tofu isn't here.
blind man. Toko. I don't need to ask anything right away. I'm just gonna roll so I can see how much hold I have if I do want to ask him something. All right, I got 7. All right, so I hold 1. All right, moving on.
It's a good time because as you're staring at him, he's like, well, what the town talks about is that, well, have you heard of Kyoshi Island?
No. Yeah, of course.
Ren just stays silent.
Well, the rumor is that there's a giant unagi there. Well, let's just say that perhaps when I was younger, I was there and tussled with this giant unagi. That's when I made my first blind unagi drink, and that's what the village says mid me blind.
He seems
So are
awfully
these scales
distant
from
about
that fight?
his own story.
Wait, I want to spend my hold now. I want to spend my hold now. I want to spend my hold now. I want to ask him if he's telling the truth. Rozak's just gonna look at him and down a hot cup of tea and say, "Did that really happen?"
Surrounds him with a fire.
Tell me the truth!
Did you fight the Unagi? When did you go blind?
He stares at Rozak and he goes, that's just what I let him believe. No, I've been blind since birth. I'm so old, no one here was around when I was born.
Nice.
And he actually has, the entire time he's been talking, he's made a blind unagi, and when he starts laughing, he just shoots one back.
Ren just like shoves his feet under the table and is like, well, at least there's no risk for him.
Is there one for me, or is it?
No, he's made, one for Osa and one for Che as well, too.
All right, Osa.
All right, let's do this.
We clink the glass. To the first shot of his life. 100%.
It's, I mean, have either of you drank? I don't know. What's the legal drinking age of the Avatar world? Probably pretty young, I guess.
5.
Yeah, probably.
5, yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah,
My guess
So
is
toddler, 3-year-old toddler Che's been drinking.
Watered down
the
rice
animal
wine
might
from
probably
like day
abstain
2.
in general.
How's our livers then?
This might be. Is this Osa's like first?
Oh no! If the air nomads abstain, Osa's definitely partaken.
All right.
I mean, I was gonna say it's probably like one side or the other. Either they abstain or they only eat vegetables and drink like rice wine.
Yeah, no, Che's never tried alcohol.
Okay. This goes down your throat like an actual fire.
That's good.
Justin, if you don't mind, I think Ren would actually quietly step away from the table at this point and look for like a staircase and try to like explore the building a bit. Feeling a little safer now.
Yeah. Why don't you roll? Well, no, you don't roll. I'll tell you what you see. You have eyes. You can
Okay.
see things.
I didn't have the Kool-Aid.
Really just throwing Tuco.
Just canon, guys. Ren has eyes.
Yep. For now.
And in
For
this
now.
particular instance, he's really
Everyone
rubbing
else,
that back.
questionable.
All right.
Was that an
Ren
eye
stands up
rubbing
and he's
joke?
I've got
Most of us
eyes.
never wrote in our eyes. You never told us to.
Yeah, you look around. You see sort of a staircase up that leads to a balcony, And there's a couple sort of side rooms.
Does it seem like it's all kind of public area for the blind unagi? I'm not like intruding on someone's house by going upstairs.
No, this is a tea shop.
Okay.
And it's probably where, as you're looking around, you see quite a number of seats. So it's probably where most of the village comes after a day's work to sort of interact with the town and, chat and have a good time.
For sure. I think Ren just wants to find a quiet spot up top in the upper level, ideally to look out of a window at the rest of the village. And if I notice anything of import, then great. If not, then I think it's just good downtime.
Why don't you roll assess the situation for
I
me?
will do that. And when I do that, I add
Creativity. When you assess a situation, roll creativity.
9.
On a 9, you can ask me one question.
From this vantage point, what seems like the best strategy if we were to try to defend this village here?
You got to ask me one of the questions.
Oh no, I can't just
on the
make up a
list.
question.
It would be great if you could make up a question, but no, you've got 5 options. What here can I use to blank? Who or what is the biggest threat? What should I be on the lookout for? What's my best way out, in, or through? And then lastly is
what
who
can
or
I
what is in the
use
greatest
here
danger?
to defend the village? Is there an ideal spot to dig trenches, set up bombs, nets, tripwire? I'm just trying to think.
Yeah. You see, as you're looking at the village and you look at the town square area, there's like 3 choke points into the town square. So if you could find some way to, I don't know, not necessarily booby trap. I mean, it's up to you. I'll just give you that information. You guys do with it what you want. There's 3 choke points into this village square, and there are a number of like merchants and a couple houses near them as well too. So there would be some height advantage as well.
Just minor question that might be just observational if it's allowed. Do I feel like there's enough fishing nets all around this place that I could like maybe tie them up together and throw some massive net down on some bad peeps?
That's not a bad idea. You could certainly try.
All right, that's
it.
all I got. I'm just reflecting out the window and scheming.
As you're doing that, Che and Rozak and Osa are kicking back that shot.
And Liko is like
And
the
Rozak
sober one.
is threatening the... well, it's funny you mention that because Iron sort of leans over and says, child, do you have a moment? I have something I want to ask you.
Who is he talking to?
Iron
okay.
to Liko.
I'm up. Sure. Let's talk.
I don't quite think that it would be appropriate to say in front of your friends. This is some...
Well, I don't feel comfortable leaving them.
He says, I understand. And then he says this even quieter so other people can't hear it, which he's been kind of whispering. He goes, I knew your parents.
So Ligo takes a moment to process that. She nods and then says, why don't we talk off to the side here where she can still see the boys and they can still see her, but they're away so that way they don't hear what's going on.
Fine. I accept that. And he walks off to the side where the two of you can have a private conversation. I know that must come as a shock to you, but it's the truth. Your parents and I were actually, in fact, very, very close friends.
So she doesn't really show a lot of emotion because she's just kind of quiet and everything, but she's processing everything. She asks him, when did you know them?
I knew them before they had you, and I knew that they had you as well.
Do you know what happened to them?
No, I don't know what happened to your parents, but I know why they came here to the Foggy Swamp. They came here to rescue an egg, something that the Foggy Swamp was keeping from the world. I don't know why or where, but that's what they came here to do.
Do you know if they were able to retrieve this egg?
He looks crestfallen and goes, I think they must have. As I lost track of them in the swamp. I couldn't find the egg after that.
So Liko looks at the boys, and then while she's processing everything, and then she looks back at him and says, if we go into the foggy swamp, can you take me where they used to live?
Absolutely. Yes, I could lead you there. Yes, I think I could. I think I could find your parents now that I've got you and your friends.
So they're still alive?
As far as I know. When I lost track of them, I came here. And I've been here ever since. I've been the mayor ever since.
All right, so
I walked into town and someone just handed me the mayor title.
Well, the last guy was ready to get rid of it too. Sucker.
Least
I
wanted
almost became the
job.
mayor.
Handed you the mayor hat.
Okay. All right. Well, I do insist that I take at least one of my friends with me.
You can take all of them if you want. We can do it tomorrow, but I think perhaps we focus on defending the town first.
Sure. Okay. So Liko says thanks and then joins the boys.
We'll reconvene tomorrow. Thank you all for agreeing to do this. Get a good night's rest. Feel free to rest the rest of the day, and tomorrow we can work on setting up defenses around the village.
But we didn't discuss anything about defending the village yet. I feel like we should.
Yeah, you're just reading Ren's mind upstairs.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Che, are you okay? I wanted to point out that Rozak actively abstained and only
Che
drank
reaches across
tea.
the table and grabs the tea and starts drinking it.
So Liko leans into the boys and she wants to tell them something. So there's something I have to tell you guys. I actually come from Foggy Swamp. Anyone know where Ren is actually? Because Ren should actually be here.
I think he went upstairs.
Ren is just spacing out the window upstairs.
Okay.
Rozak yells,
I don't have to.
Comes
That
downstairs.
was not necessary.
it's the most efficient way of getting people if you're in the same building.
Okay. Well, I'm from Foggy Swamp, and Iron told me that he knew my parents. And it's weird because I've never met them before. And he was offering to take us to where they used to live. But something doesn't feel right.
Did you roll suspicious mind on him?
I don't really know what Rozak's talking about, but do you want us to go with you?
Yes.
It's actually crazy that you
Yeah,
actually knew
it's
your parents.
kinda
That's why I
shady.
don't trust it.
It is pretty suspicious, but I think we'd all
Did
go
you
with
ask him? Did he mention them by name at all?
No, he did not.
Because you could go up to anyone and say that you knew their parents.
Exactly.
That's actually.
And if you-
that's actually a good point.
He also said
Ren looks surprised.
I'm just
Like,
asking.
Ren just looks shocked and looks at Rozak and is like, Rozak, that was
Jay has the same
smart.
expression, and it's just it takes him a second to catch up to the coherent thought.
just like nodding slowly and calculating like this is
it's
happening.
in that tea.
Rozak just wants to be the fun dad, okay?
He also said that we wouldn't be able to find them until after we defend the village.
Liko, if you don't trust it, respectfully, what is there to gain?
What if it's true?
If you have a bad hunch, I don't know.
But also, it's worth checking out. I mean, Foggy Swamp is to the north, and it's technically on our way. So,
I mean, and if it's the five of us, if it comes down to it, it's the five of us against Mr. Mayor, then
he's not even a very good mayor.
Yeah, but we don't know what's waiting for us in the Foggy Swamp or where
No.
he's supposed to take us.
maybe it's the cabbage spirit.
Never underestimate elderly people.
Okay, Rosa, you can...
And as Liko says, you don't know what to expect from the Foggy Swamp. This camera sort of zooms out of the blind Unagi and continues to zoom into the Foggy Swamp, and the sun quickly disappears from the banyan tree's canopy, and it's dark, and you just hear all sorts of unknown creatures. And you will have a week to decide how to defend the village and what you are going to do about Liko's parents. But we thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Flying Bison podcast. Please give us a review on wherever you listen to podcasts if you're enjoying this. tell your friends. Those are the best ways for a podcast like ours to get some notoriety. And I realized that I forgot to do a 5-star review last week. So we've got a double header for you this week. If you give us a 5-star review, I've already worked this out with the state of Kentucky. You can make both Monroe and Danny enter the Kentucky Derby with those latex horse heads on and watch them race against the actual horses. But you got to give us a 5-star review if you do that. It's going to be hilarious. Yep.
I've already been practicing.
Not fast.
So
Neither of them are fast.
Yeah, that's some Patreon only content right there, though. That's like, what's the bid?
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Everybody say bye.